Welcome to The Planet Forward with Preetha, conversations for a greener future, the place where we ignite discussions and uncover innovations driving us towards sustainability. Every episode, join your host Preetha as we explore the stories, ideas, and pioneers making a real difference in our world. Get ready to be inspired, learn, and be a part of the change that propels us forward to a greener tomorrow.
Welcome to Planet Forward with Preetha, Conversations for a Greener Future. In today's episode, we are joined by Vasu Persaud, a visionary leader in the real estate sector. Vasu is not just transforming landscapes, but also shaping sustainable futures through his extensive involvement in high-return land development projects across Florida and beyond. At Karma Consultancy, LLC, and Karma Capital Partners, he is pioneering strategic value-driven investments. Furthermore, as a founder of EcoVision Homes LLC and Karma Development Group, Vasu is at the forefront of creating green, affordable housing, addressing critical issues from climate change to wellness in communities. Today, we'll dive deep into how his future work is influencing the real estate industry towards a more sustainable and inclusive future. Vasu, I'm so happy to have you here today with us. Can't wait to listen to all what you have to say in your line of work today.
Wow, thank you so much, Preetha, for having me here. I'm honored, honestly. Would love to delve into that. Very nice introduction that makes it sound a lot more fancy than it actually is.
No, it is. And I've known you for a couple of years now, and I know all the hard work that you've put in to get to this stage. So I'd love to share this information to everybody who is going to listen to this podcast, so that more and more people understand the amazing work you and your partners are doing. So the
Absolutely.
first question I have for you is, a journey into real estate, because that itself is really, really something I want everybody to understand how you came into this. And so could you give us an overview of your journey into the real estate industry, and like what inspired you to start Karma Consultancy and as well as Karma Capital Partners?
Oh man, the journey was very organic, meaning that I did not plan this destination. Coming from the Caribbean, which is where I'm from, I was born in Guyana. Obviously my four parents were from India. They came over there many, many generations ago for the British to work primarily rice plantations and sugarcane plantations. And this was after slavery and whatnot. So, I grew up in Guyana and I left there at 9. My dad was a lecturer at a university, and I was fortunate. My mom was a teacher, so he got a position in another island of the Caribbean called Barbados. I went over there. Was fortunate because Barbados is known for having a very good education system and so forth. Was very fortunate to be educated there, and eventually made my way to Florida. I moved to Florida with a box of books. I think I had about $40 in my pocket at the time.
Wow.
My primary goal was to get my PE license. That was, because in the Caribbean, as a young kid coming out of school, that was the next thing to do, get your professional engineering license. So that's all I wanted to do. That I didn't really. I also had always had an interest in real estate. I did civil engineering as a degree because I wanted to build things and so forth. So that's how probably I got started. But little did I know that I would shoot way past just getting that singular license. So, basically just the usual immigrant story, working hard and so forth. But how did I get into green homes? Karma Development Group, Karma Consultancy is now Karma Development Group, a whole group of companies. How did I start EcoVision Homes? Honestly, I think fundamentally my journey was, I wanted to, make an impact. I wanted to contribute. Don't know specifically where that came from, but my parents were obviously teachers and they instilled that in me. So I just wanted to contribute. I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to do well. So I was a civil engineer and consultant, and I was assisting developer clients with their projects, doing many projects across the state of Florida. Kind of had a little reputation for that. I was very niche in a very small part of the whole development process,
Mhm.
but I did get to work on many projects. And then on part-time basis, and I started to do real estate, investment properties. Some people know them as fix and flips and so forth. But I felt I can do more. I was fortunate to go around a few mentors that encouraged me. Some of my clients, land development clients, became mentors. But for me, it was not just about making money or investing or any of these type of things. It was actually about helping people. And I coined the phrase early in my career where I said, yes, I do real estate. I'm in the real estate business, but fundamentally, I'm in the helping people business. So
Wow.
I I chose the Karma name for all my businesses, Karma Development Group, Karma Consultancy, Karma Capital, and so forth, because I found that karma, as you're familiar with, is a type of yoga, and it's of service, about service to humanity and so forth. So I
Yes.
wanted to make my business about that. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
so
beautiful.
yeah. So yeah, long introduction, but it is a long
No,
story. But
I
yeah.
really love the fact that you brought in your foundation aspects, right? Not
Right.
just coming into the country, but where you came from and what your heritage is, what your lineage is, because that also helps, right? As a human being, our past and our history, our family history also molds us into who we are today. You have taken that
Exactly.
valuable lessons and how you
Mhm.
have taken that and shaped it into a business, and also you ensured that you rightfully said, business, we all come in, it's a huge risk. Not everyone can become businessmen because it's a risk involved in it, but looking at money making as just a byproduct, but your core value is to ensure that you're giving back to the community in the best way you can, and that you have
Yes.
inculcated in every aspect of your business, from making sure that it's environmentally sustainable, and you're giving back to the community, you are, and also from choosing the name as well, so it always constantly reminds you that this is the vision and mission of your company, so that you don't sway away from that. So the name always resonates, and you want to make sure that you are on the right path. So you ensure that everything is covered from all the pillars of your business, right from the name, the ethos of the company, the vision and the mission, and what you stand for. You're ensuring that it's always giving back. So I love the way you said it. So thank you so much. I think we are definitely off to a good start. So now I want to see,
Yeah.
like, you,
Mhm.
your educational background, right? You've done civil engineering, you have your PE license, and then you started off with the, flipping, and then you moved strategically, and now you're into real estate development. So I'd like to understand, like, how do you integrate, like, strategic thinking into your real estate ventures, and what principles guide your decision making process, like especially when considering long
Well,
term value creation?
so first of all, I when I came here, I background wise, I was definitely civil engineering, which is very, hard numbers and those type of things.
Yes.
But I was fortunate. I did a engineering management degree early on. It's sort of like an MBA, but a little bit focused on project management and so forth. Now, what happened was during that course, it's actually a course. A lot of the the university that I attended was University of Central Florida, which is here in Orlando. Um, they have a very good relationship and program with NASA,
Oh,
which
wow.
is Cape Canaveral. There, actually, that's one of the reasons the university was founded. Um, so they were very. I learned a lot stepping out of the civil engineering field into more of the industrial engineering and scientist management real. And I learned some of our professors were uh, adjunct profs from NASA and stuff, and I learned a whole different thing there. One of the concepts I learned about is this concept called lean thinking.
Mhm.
And lean thinking was trying to be more efficient across the board with your projects and so forth, and your procedures, and I learned several concepts. And as we were conceptualizing our business, we wanted to have a business that would make an impact, solve a problem. I remember my wife and I were poor thing. It was a Saturday, what was I doing? Honey, let's talk about a business name. So I was sticking post-its on the wall in the living room, and she was listening. She's a very good listener. And I said, look, I don't want to pick too grandiose a name because what we're trying to do is going to be a little bit fundamentally different.
Yes.
Um, and we don't even know if we can be eco-friendly because so many companies out there try to be eco-friendly and so forth, and it's not that easy or possible. Um, so we said, okay, we want to be economical, we want to be eco-friendly and all that, but what if we don't succeed? So I said, okay, well, let's have a vision. That's our vision. That's what we want to do. So that's how we chose EcoVision as our company name and so forth. So uh,
That is nice. That's a beautiful way to say, right? That's your vision. That's what you aspire to
yes,
get there.
that's just
So
our aspiration here. Yeah.
it's wonderful. Oh, very nice. And lean thinking, right? That's absolutely right. I know
Lean thinking.
when I was in the corporate world, one of the things we got trained specifically was Lean Six Sigma training to ensure that as much
Exactly.
as we can, we have to cut waste and ensure that we are much more faster to the market, irrespective of whatever sectors we are focusing on. So that's a really nice way, especially in real estate, right? If you can apply the lean principles into real estate, vast majority of the waste can be reduced in terms of resources, manpower, and financial aspects, everything in all the different stages of project management. You can reduce waste. I love the way you said that. So
Right. So that's one of our sort of underlying principles here. We have several of them. But anyways, yep.
that's wonderful. So moving on to the next one. So now we said what prompted you to come up with the name of EcoVision. So now I want to understand. So with your involvement in EcoVision Homes LLC and the Karma Development Group, what are some innovative practices that you've implemented to address climate variability and promote greenhousing? What are the things that you're implementing?
Well, as we were conceptualizing our business, one of the things that happened here in Florida, as happens, seems like I hear a lot more stories about this now, is our weather patterns are a little bit different, it seems. We
Yes.
seem to have a little bit more, or at least we seem to be more conscious of more extreme weather. We
Mm-hmm.
had one year where there were three hurricanes that summer for a state that hardly ever gets a hurricane. Now it seems it's common every year we're hit by some hurricane. Sometimes it's not a big hurricane, but sometimes it is. So as we were conceptualizing building homes, I said, hey, if I'm going to build homes and we I have to build homes that can resist a hurricane. One of the issues here in Florida, we build homes with asphalt shingles, and of course, a hurricane comes and people lose shingles, then they have to pay a lot of money to replace the shingles. So, being efficient, being lean, we decided to get away from asphalt shingles. First of all, asphalt is a crude oil product, right?
So it's
Byproduct.
not it's not good for environment again. So we have to negate
Right.
it.
Well, practically speaking, it's not the best roof thing,
Yeah.
right? So I have like a whole set of inefficiencies about roof I can tell you. First of all, every layer that we use in a roof, a typical conventional home in the US, compensates for a deficiency in the previous layer. So, for example, we use shingle because the plastic underlayment we put under the shingles is can't resist the sun.
So
Um, and so on and so forth. But so one thing we did is we use a green liquid applied roof system
okay.
now as opposed to a asphalt shingle roof. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it's more of a commercial type roof that we employed. We were able to get it at a reasonable price, and that's what allows us to build our homes without that having that hurricane resistant thing in it. The the data apparently suggests that weather events and hurricanes get more extreme because the atmosphere is hotter, and the hotter it is, the more extreme the hurricane and so forth. So we call our roofs hurricane resistant roofs, and that's an example, and that's just but one example. Mhm.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's very nice. So
Mhm.
you're actually focusing on that particular region wise as well. Like for instance,
Right.
Florida is hurricane prone. So you're ensuring that whatever homes you're building there, you're looking at the local climatic situations and conditions so it can withstand that. So
Absolutely.
if you
And
were to build it,
it's the
yeah,
same situation elsewhere. California sometimes have wildfires, Texas has heat. So
yeah.
our not only is the roof more suited to the higher winds, it's also more insulated. Um while also being faster to construct. So it's again lean thinking in action.
In
Yeah.
action. So your one product can actually solve several of the attributes, in different
There you
states.
go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
That is very nice. I think that's a great proposition, right? Like you're not, even if you are diversifying and you're going to California, this particular product will be applicable in that scenario as well because of the high
Yeah.
winds and things like that. If you're
Yeah.
coming to Texas, I know from a heat insulation perspective, this is going to be viable there as well. So
Yes.
that's perfect. That's wonderful.
Yes.
I think it's a. So how did you come up? I'm really curious to know, like, how did you come about this product, and where, who was your
Well,
mentor who
well,
actually came?
again, we we focused on being a solution. So I didn't know, honestly, I didn't I my entrepreneurial skill set now is at a much better level than it was when I started out. I was, I mean, I didn't really have a business background. I had an engineering background, but fundamentally, because I read a lot of books now and everything on entrepreneurship. So I didn't know at the time that all the great companies in the world, some of the founders, I attended courses with Stephen Chen, who is the co-founder of YouTube and so on, and they would always hone in on solve a problem, right? Don't seek to make money, solve a problem. So back then, honestly, I didn't know any better, but just my entrepreneurial instinct was I have to focus on solving problems, right? And everything else will flow. So really just focusing on being a solution to our customer. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I guess once you focus on problem solving, and then the solution automatically comes into play because your mind is only looking for a solution. It's not looking at the problem per se. You're well past the problem stage now. You're looking only for solutions, and then more and more ideas and several other avenues open up.
Well, and I learned this too. The great entrepreneurs, folks say, fall in love with the problem, and that's actually what we became obsessed with that problem. Frankly, at the time, I didn't know any better. This was just my natural instinct to do stuff. Yeah, but we just focused on the problem as much as we could. Now we had to do this. We had to bring a solution, uh, you know, to the table that was also economical. That
And
was very hard.
yeah, so that's
Very,
where
very hard.
that's where
Mhm.
exactly where I'm coming to the next question. I think it's a perfect segue. So it is, challenges in affordable housing, right? So one thing you want to solve the problem statement is like, EcoVision, that is eco-friendly homes. But then the next, the other side of the coin is like you have challenges. So what are your biggest challenges you face in developing affordable housing projects and how do you overcome them? And
So,
also making sure that eco vision also is kind of blended in that.
oh man, I try not to think about the hurdles we've have to jump through, but officially, I mean, we were conceptualizing the company from before, but then officially we incorporated a company in 2020. Since that time, we had a pandemic.
Yes.
We have a war in Ukraine, for example. We've had the highest interest rates in recent decades. We've had the highest lumber prices ever. We've had material shortages,
Yes.
um, so on and so forth. So there have been a lot of hurdles to
Almost
overcome.
all curveballs you can think of has been thrown to you the
And
last 4 years.
I would just sit down, and say, and then there was, Middle East issues, the currency, inflationary issues. I was sat there and I said, man, they really they really want to make sure that I earn this, huh? But then I realized, you know what? Everyone in history that ever started any business faced these things.
True.
In normal everyday life, we may not be acutely aware of these things, but because you're in the industry, they're affecting you more. So this is not anything different to anyone else. Just accept it as your normal and focus on your core competencies and being a solution. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
that's what we
stuck
did.
to it. You're stuck to your vision, no matter what
Grit.
your curveballs are thrown at you. Like, you
Yeah.
rightfully said, right? Almost all the businesses which has succeeded, if you look at their history, they must have started when there was a recession, when conditions were really, really bad, and they had no means to even scale their business, but they believed in the vision. Like you said,
Yeah.
right? Fall in love with the solution or the problem what you are trying to solve, and then the rest of the things just fall in its place. And I guess that's been your mantra as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we put vision in the name that, yeah. Yeah. By the
Beautiful.
way, I wanted to mention that because I know you have a global audience, that the solutions to a lot of the problems we seek to solve, which is affordability, climate resilience, things like wellness and workforce upskilling, we think that there are area-specific solutions to these problems, and it is important for us in whatever geographic region we are to be resourceful within the region that we are in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for many reasons. But anyway, yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, I think even that shingle example as a primary example, right? You've chosen a product which can be, applied to different scenarios, like you rightfully
Yes.
said, there are different geographical locations, but this can be used for any kind of problem. So I guess that's the lean way to approach also. So thank you for bringing that up. So
Yeah.
next I have is like all this advent of AI and all that coming into, and real estate is no, it's no, they cannot escape from that. AI is definitely impacting that space as well. So I want to speak about technology, right? Like how has technology impacted your business operations, particularly in construction management and property management?
Oh man. Honestly, in former years, maybe 10 years ago, even or less, the scale at which we're at right now as
Mhm.
a company and the level of projects we're working on would have required, a much larger workforce. And I know we try to think lean and be efficient with everything across the board, but technology adoption has certainly helped us. First of all, Rita, I would not be here in front of you right now
Without the technology,
without
exactly.
the Zoom technology, which was accelerated during COVID, in my opinion, right? Remote
Absolutely.
type work and so on. I think we benefited from that. I think educationally, we've benefited tremendously. Networking
100%.
wise, has helped tremendously. I do have people in different parts of the country, not located in Florida, that work with us. That would have been a little bit unusual previously. Um, the also technology. I mean, usually to run a construction firm of the scale of our size, and we're still early stage, so we're still getting into projects, but would have required, office space, hardwire phones, fax machines, a whole lot of things. That's not the case with us anymore. And this is actually one of the issues that we look to address when in our completed subdivisions with our residents, and that is workforce upskilling. Because if you don't, it's like AI is going to change a lot of things. So you're either work with AI and adopt AI into your everyday life and business or whatever have you, or AI could potentially replace the functions and roles that you play in your business.
Absolutely,
So
very true. You might as well join the bandwagon, learn that, and ensures that how can you, use that to, grow in your business. That's one way to look at. Or you get lost in that, because every day
Absolutely.
there's a new version which is coming out. And then, like you said, your role itself can be replaced. Many other role, like content writers, find themselves losing their jobs today because AI has literally replaced that. So it's only a matter of time. Different sectors are going to be adopted. I know that I attended a masterclass recently wherein it's real estate related, and how AI is using, it's building list for wholesalers. And it was a masterclass by Pace Morby, and he was like literally saying that AI is going to replace that. When I got the invite for it, I didn't think through it was going to replace, but after the masterclass, I realized how true it was. And he actually had this demo showing us how it can replace. You can get a complete list, and you can, send emails to uh, potential investors simultaneously, and it's completely AI driven. And previously, it used to take a lot of time for people to do that kind of a work, and it's just a click of a few buttons and it's getting done. So
Preetha, years ago, about 20 years ago, call centers moved overseas. Well, now call centers may become redundant because AI voice technology might replace those things.
yeah.
And can you imagine whole industries, right, were spawned from the dot-com boom?
Mm-hmm.
Those industries that was once a boom in our lifetime may be completely antiquated in 5 years.
100%. Vasu, even in digital transformation, like creating a website. So today, for instance, if you're going and registering on GoDaddy and buying a domain, and if you just upgrade your membership, you can actually make a really good website with 5 pages right there.
Yes,
It's AI driven.
yes,
You don't
yes.
need a web developer, or you don't need a UI UX designer or anything. You have like bunch of templates, and and content can be generated again using AI, so you don't need to sit and break your head. You just plug and play, and you have a website, a good one to actually go and showcase your business to your potential client, and then probably upgrade it later. But that's how much technology has advanced, that previously you had to hire a web developer, sit and talk to them about the complete UI and UX. The template need to be created, and then you go back and forth. All that can be done if you have a focused 1 hour. You can get a website done. That's how much it's become. Like you said, like 5 years from now, those kind of jobs may even become non-existent, and we have to accept it. And we have to find ways wherein we all become much more upskilled for the new generation.
Yes, no, it's a problematic thing. I think they're saying that the gig economy will increase because um, it's possible that people will leverage AI to be able to do some of these things. I'm already seeing businesses start to push back on this, by the way, but that's probably a whole lot of not a conversation.
Yes, yes, you're right. You're right. So now I want to speak about the future of real estate. Right now, we know that technology is going to be an integral part of everything we're going to do. And you rightfully said how it has changed the way you operate today in business.
Yeah.
So, given the rapidly changing landscapes of the global markets, right, not just within United States, across the world, it's changing. How do you see the future of real estate evolving, particularly in terms of sustainability and workforce housing?
So in my view, one of the big factors that is everyone knows some of the main things, but one thing that's not talked about as much is population growth has slowed globally,
Yes.
right? We were thinking that we would be an overpopulated Earth
Yes. That was
a
the
couple
biggest
decades
fear.
ago.
Yes.
Yes, that will be overpopulated. Now we're saying, hey, there are countries that are, births are so far down that they may have a youth issue.
Yes.
America is one of them,
Yes.
right?
America, Japan, they all,
Japan
yes.
especially comes to mind. So population trend will impact real estate, in my opinion. Naturally, everyone knows that technology has impacted retail.
Hmm. Big time.
Technology has also impacted office. So we're sort of looking at what will happen in the residential space. Ultimately, you have to have a roof over your head.
Hmm.
But I actually think long term, over the next several decades, we may see the demand for housing actually go down if our population trends continue to go down. So would you imagine? So I think one area of residential um, housing and development is more so focused on price and quality.
Quality.
And I'm talking not the next 5 years, I'm talking maybe a decade from now. I have two, I think now 5 and 10 years. That's how I try to make decisions. So, but for foreseeable future, right now, we will have a big demand for housing. Okay. There'll be there'll be a demand for houses at a better price point because land where people want to live tends to be finite. In
Yes.
Orlando, around Dallas, around some of the major metropolitan areas, Miami, for example, land is difficult to find. So the cost to develop is higher, and that's what puts pressure on up prices, apart from all the other interest rates, taxes, insurance, and so forth. So a big trend is increasing prices. And but I think there's also going to be a focus more globally on sustainability, wellness, affordability.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you think, the current millennials, right, their focus on housing is totally different versus how the previous generations were? Like, because of the advent of technology, they want to travel quite a bit. They want to work from any different geographical location. So, and they're not, I'm talking from my own experience because I have two, one is going to be 22 and another one is 19. So, their view of housing is like they don't want this huge mortgage on their heads. They don't want the headache of maintaining such a large house. They're very comfortable with small houses. They just want enough to live in, and they focus on the experience of life versus having all that cookie cutter recipes of like you have to get married in 25, have a child in 27. They don't want this scripted life. They want it much more a life where they experience life. So when the mindset is shifting from the consumers, right, wherein they don't want this huge mortgage and all, do you think that also is going to impact real estate?
Well, fundamentally, what has happened is with the advent of cheap educational information. I'm talking, you can learn a lot from Instagram. You can learn a lot from TikTok. You could also waste a lot of time, but nevertheless, there's a lot of good information out there. And what has happened is it used to be the pathway to success involves certain key milestones like job, degree, married, kids, retirement, whatever it is, no order. But now people have different options they can pursue, and they're seeing that there's travel bloggers that can spend much of their time traveling. I do believe though that there is as some of millennials and Gen Z folks get older, I think there is a natural instinct to have kids and have a family. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can only travel so much until you may want to settle down somewhere. I think the term settle down is still always going to be part of human nature. And so the question is, what happens before that settle down stage? Now, I know a lot of folks, I actually have millennial friends that also don't want to have kids. So that's another thing. They may settle down, but they would prefer not to have kids. They see kids as a lot of responsibility, and they're not really looking for that level of responsibility. They rather have a pet,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Yeah.
So I see that that will continue to affect real estate. Um, and there's no question, there's no question that it'll impact humanity in general. What I'm not clear about on is how do different millennial aged folks and Gen Z aged folks differ around the globe. Okay.
And depending on
I think
their cultural aspects as well,
I
different
think there's
geographical.
cultural aspects, and ultimately we're a global economy and we're a global culture now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And So I think personally, I feel that there are some natural human instincts, and people would end up looking to settle down naturally anyway. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. So now I want to ask you, uh, and what would you advise for young entrepreneurs, especially looking to enter the real estate industry, especially those interested in sustainable development? From your standpoint, having gone through the journey, what is your advice?
I think, clarity of vision is important earlier in your career. I think this is very important. I knew I wanted to build things, civil engineering wise. That's what I liked fundamentally. So that allowed me to pursue that from early inception, career wise and whatnot. I think if I sometimes encounter younger entrepreneurs that say, I'm not sure what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's valid and that happens. But if you can get clear, do what is necessary to get clear. Uh, and basically, what by getting clear, I would say correlate what, first of all, expose yourself to different experiences and find what is ultimately passionate about you, not what you like or what your friends do, what is innate to yourself, what you feel drawn to. And then build a business or build a career or whatever have you around that. But be cognizant of what you may have liked at 16 or 20 or 22 or whatever have you may change over the years.
I
I mean,
love
a
the way you
simple
said it.
example, silly me, but I say silly me, but I was really into sports. So basketball was one of them. I watched it, played it, coached it, spent a lot of time, putting a rubber ball into a hoop several times. Uh, and that's very good exercise and all these type of things. But let's say I had a passion for that. I didn't create a business around that. I created a business around something else I was passionate about. I still like it. I still have a passion for it. It's still really helpful. I integrate the two sometimes. But that's just showing like, hey, just because you like basketball, don't necessarily go become a sports therapist or something like that. It doesn't mean the two coincide. It doesn't mean you're gonna be in there forever. Really look at, my opinion is,
Long term.
look at why you wanna, what would you be passionate about doing? Correlate that to a problem that you can solve. And I personally think correlate it to a way that you can help the earth. Okay.
So if you
Planet
have those
forward,
connect
think
the dots.
forward. Yes. Think
Yes.
planet forward. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the way you said, right? What you think you love doing in your 20s may completely differ in your 40s, and accept it. There is nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. And accept the fact that change is possible in every phase of your life. You don't necessarily have to stick with what you believed in your 20s. Is something the true in your 40s. Your shift in perception will happen because of the
Mhm.
experiences you've had in life, and what you thought, like you said, your example is perfect. Your basketball experience, what you loved when you were in your early 20s or in your teens, changed. But not that you don't like it anymore, but you have a lot of great life experiences, and your view of the world has changed, which has culminated you into EcoVision. So you have to accept it, that is okay. And you don't
Yeah.
need to think that, oh, I used to like basketball, why I'm not liking it. No, that life will transcend, right? We all transcend and evolve into a better human being because of life experience, and that's why we are all in this
Absolutely.
universe.
Absolutely. I'm a
And
big believer in leaning forward, right?
yes.
By the way, just because I'm a big youth person, I like to encourage grit is very important. Try new things, be bad at them, try to get better at some of them. Learn to fail forward is
Yes.
important. Be passionate about what you do in whatever endeavor. Try to help humanity.
Yes.
Um, and have a learner personality, growth personality. I think it's very important in today's world to have a growth mindset and a learner personality. So much information out there. Yeah. Mhm.
Like you have to be a lifelong student, always unlearn whatever you learned and keep learning. And that's my mantra because
And I would also say something I see missing is have a high standard for yourself. If
yes,
you're going to do an endeavor, I try to do this. Sometimes I don't get all the way, but at least there's success in my journey anyway. But try to have a high opinion and a high standard for yourself, so you shoot and you elevate yourself and you elevate others. And I think having humility is very important personally. Yeah.
absolutely 100%. I agree. And I see that in you a lot. So you embody what you speak. So thank you for that.
Thank
So
you.
then I want to ask about a pivotal moment. So can you share a pivotal moment or a significant challenge you faced in your career that shaped your approach to real estate development? Like one incident that you want to say, okay, that actually changed the view of my entire journey.
So, in my life, I'm not an abrupt change type of guy historically. So I don't, if I'm working on something, I will tend to be steadfast on it for a while, and I won't switch gears too quickly. Okay. But one um one thing that probably was a pivotal moment. There are several things that has occurred over time. One thing that was a pivot, literally, in our EcoVision homes process. When we started out, we were looking at sustainable things, and I think at the time, I want to say it was container homes that was seen as the up and coming trend. It's a ready-made structure, and you're going to take that and build a home out of it. And it's because the structure is already there, it's going to cost a whole lot and everything. And so as we got to look into it, we found that, well, containers are great, but they're really meant for shipping, not really for homes.
Yeah.
They're a little small in a way. They're very heavy, and the construction industry wasn't really designed for welding. That's more of a mechanical or
Mhm.
industrial thing, not really a home building thing. We build with stones and blocks and bricks and stuff like that. So one, so we were researching, and we were stacking up the cons more than the pros. The advantages and disadvantages were not even. So one pivot we made, and it changed the whole trajectory of our business, is that we did make a list of the pros that we had to have, the advantages that we have to have. And we just focused on, it was just top three things. And we focused on that. And that was one time I think I remember, it was a Wednesday, and we were container homes. I had an epiphany Wednesday night, and by Thursday, we never looked back at container homes ever again.
Wow. So you
Yeah,
went it
yeah,
in a very structured format. You looked at all the pros and cons, and the moment you realized that the cons are more than the pros, and that's it, you made a
that's it.
decision.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wow.
And I think sometimes that's necessary in business.
Yes.
Um, sometimes I can keep, banging my head against the wall trying to make a container a house, or I can just pivot and say, no, there are disadvantages, and this is something I learned recently, because as we get a little bit bigger as a company, we need to move faster,
Yeah.
right? Or if we want to get bigger, we have to move faster, I should say. And historically, I'm an engineer. I consider all the pros and cons, and I make a list and different things like that. I run statistical models in my head, I guess you can say, probabilities,
Yes.
which can slow down decision making. And
Yeah.
I was watching this segment from Jeff Bezos, and he said, one of the reasons why Amazon grew so quickly, and even though there are 1 point something million people employees, is they make decisions very quickly, and that allows them to be fast. And I
So
said to myself, like, their fundamental focus is a focus on the customer, and we need to adopt to that more and more and more. We can focus on the customer and let the need to deliver to our customers be our guiding principle, and ultimately allow us to make decisions faster.
That's a
So yeah,
very valuable lesson, right? Because
mhm.
taking decisions quickly, and if you're failing, that's okay. Fail fast, right?
Feel
Because
fast. Yeah.
not all your decisions are going to give you a positive outcome, but that's okay. You making a quick decision, you're learning from it. Even if a failure is actually a lesson, rather than considering it as like a negative, you actually consider that as a positive. You're learning something out of it. You learned a valuable lesson. You wouldn't have learned that lesson if not for that particular step you took. Like I remember I was watching another a video of Jeff Bezos, and he was telling about, the way he strategizes his business is focus on things which 10 years from now will never change. You know that, uh, like he gave an example as like 10 years from now also, the customers who are buying products from Amazon want to make sure that they get efficient shipping. They want to make sure that they're getting their products at least shipped within a day's time for the most part. They want to make sure they have competitive prices, and they are getting a marketplace, like they can buy almost any product they can think of. There's one marketplace. Those values will never change 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So he knows that those are his things which he's going to keep as a key principles that you want to service his customers. But the rest of the things are fast decisions. And that actually prompted me, like, those are all finite things, will never change 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And focusing on that actually know your vision and mission of your company, and you're marching towards it. So when you said about Jeff Bezos, this resonated in my mind, because that's something which I also think, like, I know for sure that 10 years from now there are people are going to be more focused on sustainability, no matter what, more than what we are facing now. So that also gives me a lot of joy in saying that, okay, we are moving forward, we are not moving backward. So thank you for bringing that wonderful anecdote. So now I want to,
Yes. Mhm.
yeah, now I want to focus on your personal values and leadership. So out of your professional achievements, what personal values or experiences do you believe have been most influential in shaping your approach to business and leadership?
I always thought about this question, and I said, I would always own the fact that I'm not perfect, right? I'm just a developer. I'm a real estate guy. I'm trying to build houses. I'm a home builder. So, you know, we all have our faults. We have our issues and so forth. But fundamentally, I think my kind of guiding principles, and I do have to give to our culture and our religion, and so forth, whatever culture or religion we each have, right? There are a lot of good things within religion. Is religion for a basis. Philosophy is important, right? So, my philosophy of, like I mentioned, I'm in the real estate business, but fundamentally I'm in a helping people business. I find I resonate best with when I try to help others. In fact, in my life, I've probably gotten into trouble more by trying to help people, because in my view, maybe I'm helping, but maybe I'm not. I'm not. But I've gone into trouble trying to offer value and be helpful more so than any other time I think I've gotten into trouble. You know. So
I think
so I
your
think
altruistic nature comes in, because you want to, I think the natural self is to help others. I think that's, if you were to
yeah,
look at your top five strengths, I think the first one will be your giving back to the community, maybe the number one. So I think
right.
everything hones around it.
Mhm. So there's definitely that helpful and giving back altruistic aspects and philanthropic aspects as well. But I've done strength
And
finders and these type of things, and so learner personality is very strong. I think in my class that we did, I was a part of a global company, and we did all the they did it by age group, and my age group in the state of Florida, I think I ranked the highest for most likely to get it done,
oh,
right? Because
wow.
I'm definitely a driver personality. Um, so that is a key, I think, to elevate any business. You kind of have to be. So learner personality, driver personality has been important. Actually, it's on the list right here. So there's quite a few. Yeah, there's quite a
Uh,
few. But yeah, That's key. So what I've had to learn over the years, because I definitely had a more of a dominant driver, but that's why it's important to me to focus on helping others, because you can be a bull in a china shop, just knocking over things if you're too much of a driver, right? And but I've had to focus on helping others because that brings in the people aspect to what I'm doing, and that maybe balances that hard edge that I have. And it's not always perfect, honestly, right? Again, I'm not perfect, but I think in it, us as human beings, our goal is really to strive to be better,
That
right? So growth mindset, learner personality, that type of thing. I think we have had some successes. I haven't stopped learning,
that's so
right? I
beautifully
haven't
said.
stopped learning. I haven't stopped being a student. So I've gotten better. So people that knew me 20 years ago in college or something, they probably would not have expected me to be here doing this because I wasn't even studying that at that time, right? So I think learning is very key.
Oh, wow. I love the way you put that, right? Because accepting that we all have flaws, that's the most important thing. We're not perfect. No one is perfect in this world. And just strive to be a better human being than you were yesterday is actually the biggest step. Because when we do our own introspection before we retire for the night, okay, there are being honest with ourselves, there are things which we did exemplary well, but there are things which we may not have done, but that's okay. Accepting that we're all humans, we're learning from it, and being honest with ourselves and having that learning mindset. Okay, what do I do the next day to ensure that I'm not repeating the same thing over again? Is there something that I can learn
Yeah.
and course correct ourselves? I think that's the biggest mantra we all can have.
I really credit you meant or asked earlier, just conversationally, but what was a pivotal moment in my career? And I think I was lucky, fortunate enough to be invited to a real estate 3-day mastermind. Um, the there was a mentor of ours. He just invited me for free, actually, um, and several people in the room. It was in Orlando, so it's a local one. This was probably this pre-COVID, before we have some of these amazing mastermind things, which I didn't know anything about at the time. But that really opened my mind to I was in a room full of people I can learn. And
Wow.
so it put me, learn the personality person in that type of room. I'm just going to absorb, absorb, absorb.
Like a
So one
sponge.
pivotal thing is when I decided to be surrounded by people that can help me on my journey and help me in my craft, that I really changed the trajectory of my whole career
So
in real
they
estate.
always say, right, you always be amongst the people who can you can learn from and grow and who will help you uplift. That's the kind of people you need to have in your inner circle. When I went to Tony Robbins mastermind, and that's one of the things the valuable lesson, he said, you always have those champions around you who you can learn from, who are
Yeah.
going to be the champions for your growth. So I think
Yes.
that's definitely important. So I have
Yeah.
the last question for you, Vas. It has been
Yes.
wonderful just listening to you. So
Thank
I
you.
want to know about your exciting new projects, like looking ahead. What new projects or goals are you most excited about, and how do they align with your vision for a sustainable and equitable future?
I am so excited for our future. We have some very good people that have come to join the cause, which I never expected I could ever have people of that caliber, right?
Beautiful.
That is very exciting. Fundamentally, I guess we've coined a phrase that we use. It's called green workforce wellness neighborhoods, right?
Wow.
And
Green
so
workforce wellness neighborhoods. I love it.
So the green is the sustainability, environmentally friendly, and energy efficient thing. Workforce is our focus on affordability, middle income, more affordability in the middle income bracket. And wellness is related to all the things. We actually have a trademark for something that we use. Which pertains to the different pillars of wellness, like just health, but mental health, also opportunity to learn and grow because we think that's a human need,
Neat.
and also improve social relationships and so forth. So green wellness green workforce wellness neighborhoods. And the neighborhood thing is about community, because we think community is very important as we as humans. If the population grows or gets smaller, certainly by interacting more and helping each other, we can foster a brighter future. So that brighter future is our EcoVision, right? Our vision where we can contribute to making this world a better place for all of us, all residents of this earth, not just the humans, but the plants, the animals,
Biodiversity.
and
Yeah.
so forth. Yes. Very excited, because what started out as a vision is now closer to us actually making a practical impact. And it's being so well received, honestly. And yeah, we're just excited.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. And I love the way you've said about green workforce wellness community. It is everything encompassing a human life. Like we
Yeah.
all are marching towards sustainability. And then workforce, social governance is so important. Like when I talk about ESG, environment, social governance, social sustainability is so important. We want to make sure that
Yeah.
everybody on this earth gets to lead an equitable life. There should
Yes.
not be any disparity between the rich, poor, and all. Everyone need to have a good life when they are here on this earth. Wellness, you rightfully said, right? One of the things which I'm really passionate about, I'm running a series now on mental health, because when you're talking about health and wellness, we focus on the physical health, which is extremely important, but nobody talks about the mental health at that rate at which the physical health is spoken about. Mental wellness contributes to your community, the place where you live in, the kind of social interactions you have, and the way your community is built is important. So when you're taking all that pillars encompassing, and that is what your core business is about, wishing you all the luck and the best, and my prayers that all the dreams come true also, because this is amazing and this is what the world definitely needs. So
Thank you.
Vasu, it has been incredibly enlightening to learn about your groundbreaking work in sustainable real estate development, especially on the lean aspects. I simply loved it. Your
Yes.
commitment to integrating strategic, sustainable practices across the real estate value chain not only enhances investment returns, but also builds stronger, healthier communities. So as parting thoughts, do you have anything to say for us?
Well, I just want to thank you for all the work you're doing as well. I think
Thank
my
you.
partner, Dr. Sachin Maskey, one of the reasons, one of my drivers is to help him build his hospitals and so
Yes.
forth, to help, in different parts of the world. So, we basically would like to thank you for being an inspiration to us, right? We
Thank
we
you.
really, yeah, your energy is so amazing. You're actually on his board, for his nonprofit, right?
Yes, I am. And I'm
So,
so grateful for that opportunity, because the little things we can do to better the environment, right? So I'm so
right.
grateful for that.
All together. And so I really want to thank you, thank for your inspiration to us. I appreciate being here. I hope I can, offer some value to any of your viewers. And yeah, I hope I can come back in the future
Yeah,
and
definitely. I'd love to. Yes.
tell you. I mean, we do have planned to do some projects in other parts of the world and just make an impact. My life is about impact, yeah.
I'm sure we'll definitely have you again in the future to, go back and see how you've traveled and how EcoVision homes have come, maybe a year from now. So I'd love to have you. So thank you
Yes.
for sharing your insights and for being a part of our conversation today. For our listeners, let's keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible and drive our planet forward towards a greener, more sustainable future. Remember, every small step counts in our journey towards sustainability. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, keep making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Preetha.
Thank you for tuning in to The Planet Forward with Preetha, conversations for a greener future. Together, we're exploring the innovations and stories that inspire us to think and act for a sustainable world. If you're inspired by today's conversation and want to be part of this journey toward a greener future, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode filled with groundbreaking ideas and actionable solutions. Let's continue to make a difference, one episode at a time. I'm Preetha, reminding you to make every day count for our planet. Until next time, keep moving the planet forward.